Shalom. I'm gonna get right into it. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shemi Shai. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, Ruel, and also I'd like to give honor to the Akim that's out here pushing his truth and sincerity to the four corners. Just want to say Shalom. Uh, yeah, man, this is I ain't been out in a minute. I had a few troubles. We had some real inclement weather down here, and it destroyed a lot of people's stuff down here. I was one of them. It messed our car, our house, everything up. So, all my little electronic equipment. So I haven't been able to make videos, but I'm back down, to the bare essentials. But I'm able to do it, and I got a lot of lessons built up. But this one here is we know we are Israelites by the curses. We know we Israel by the curses. We don't need, the curses only gonna fit the Israelites. And we know that by the curses and through the Spirit. You know, And we know that we are the Israelites because our curses, ain't nobody suffered the curses that we suffered, but Israel. Ain't nobody, no other nation or people can boast that, you know. And I'm going to take you to Amos, and this is Amos 6:1. And it says, woe to them that are at ease in Zion and trust in the mountain of Samaria, which are named chief of the nations to whom the house of Israel came. Now that's a powerful warning to these reprobate two-thirds that's out here doing whatever, whether you know you're Israelite or you don't know you're Israelite. The punishment is going to be the same, period. It don't make a difference. So I'm going to read it again. I'm going to break it down for you. Okay, it really don't, it's self-explanatory. It really don't need to be broke down, but, I will. It says, this is Amos 6:1, and it says, woe to them that are at ease in Zion. So basically what he's telling you is, woe means death and destruction. So he's saying death and destruction to those who are at ease of our people. The Israelites, Zion. That's what we're called. The children of Zion, the children of Israel, because Zion was one of our cities. So he said, woe to them that are at ease in Zion. So right here in these captivity, all the people that's having it easy, that's living good, they're not helping their people, you know. They're not looking back trying to, lift each other up. They just for itself. You can see it all day. When you look at these superstars, when you look at the goddamn athletes, the same thing, man. These people, look at Michael Jordan, these Oprah Winfrey, all these people, they amass all this money, through these white folks. Now check out the second part of it. Okay, now it said, woe to them that are at ease in Zion and trust in the mountain of Samaria. Now the mountain of Samaria is referring to these fucking devils that's here now. They got their trust in them and not the Most High. They trust in a whole, they put their trust just like these pastors do. They put their trust into politicians and money, which is really is these demons. So basically it's saying, when they say, woe to them that are at ease in Zion, woe to y'all that's living fat, you know, with death and destruction to y'all that's out here getting it, that's out here getting that bag, and they helping your people, and you got your trust in the mountain of Samaria, which is basically the mount of these people here. And then it says, which are named chief of the nations to whom the house of Israel came. So this is where we came to. And then it goes on and it says, pass ye unto Kelna and see. Okay, now we're going to stop there. Now, what is Kelna? We're going to go and see. We're going to look it up in the Strong's Concordance. Okay. Okay, now, hold on one second. Make sure this thing here. No, was trying to do that. Okay, give me 1 second. Yeah, because the only way you're gonna truly know, we gotta break these words down. That's the only way you're gonna know the truth. You gotta get the etymology of the word. So that's what I'm doing for you now. This damn computer, stop acting up. Okay. And okay. Damn it, what the fuck? I don't understand this. Hold on, let me go back. Okay, there it is. Yeah, this thing be doing whatever it want to do. Okay. All right. So, uh, I just read the first part. This is Amos 6:1 that I read, and and I went to verse 2, Amos 6:2, and it says, "Pass ye unto Calneh and see, and from thence go ye to Hamath the great. Then go down to Goth of the Philistines." And then the Most High say, "Be they better than these kingdoms?" Then it said, "Or their border greater than your border?" So he basically telling you, he's asking you, he's like, man, you wanna be like these people, but I'm making you greater than them. I've given you a land. I put everything in your hands to make you a greater people than these people. But instead of us recognizing that, we want to be just like these people. We want to do what they do. So he put us in captivity to these people for our foolishness and our hard head, our stiff neck, and our trespass. So let's see what Calendar is. Okay, it says this is Strong's 2202, and it's a Hebrew word, and it's Xiphron, and it says a place on north boundary of the promised land. Okay, so 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 it said and then it says, and from thence go ye to Hamath the great. So let's see what Hamath is. Hamath is a city. You know, let's see where this city is. Uh, Salaki, wait a minute, hold on. I was wrong about that. That's okay. Calna is not. I'm gonna tell you what Calna is. The first one. So Calna and I had it wrong at first. I mixed it up. It's a it's Strong's 3641, and it says um a location in Babylonia, from the chapter Genesis 10:10. Okay, so we know it's a place, it's a city, and it was a city in Babylon. So let's go back up. The Most High said, He said, and these are the captivities we've been to. He said, "Pass ye unto Calneh, which is Babylon, and see, and from thence go ye to Hamath the Great." So Hamath is what? Let's see what Hamath is. It is a place on in boundary of the promised land. So the boundaries of the promised land were the Canaanites, right? With the land, I think it was the land of Canaan, but if it depends on what side you was on. So yeah, we just know that it was the land of another nation, because our land was the promised land and theirs wasn't. So uh, let's go back down, and then it says, then go down to Goth of the Philistines. So let's see what Goth is. Let's get down there. Okay. Okay. And then this is Strong 1661. And it said, and then it says, go down to Goth, and which means wine press, a Philistine city. And then it says, a proper name of a location and a Philistine city. And so basically, we was in captivity to the Philistines. So these are places. These are places where we were in captivity at. We started in Babylon. So the Most High basically was telling us that we was going to go into these captivities anyway, because he said it right here. He said, "Pass ye unto Calneh, which is a Babylonian city, and see. And from thence go ye to Hamath the Great. And then go down to Goth of the Philistines." He said, "Be they better than these kingdoms? Or are they border greater than yours?" So let's continue. Let's continue. All right, let me. Okay. So these are the places we've been in captivity, starting in Babylon, like I was just telling you. And so it says, ye that put far away the evil day and causes the seat of violence to come near, that lie upon beds of ivory and stretch themselves upon their couches and eat the lambs out of the flock and the calves out of the midst of the stall, that chant to the sound of the viol and invent to themselves instruments of music like David, that drink wine in bowls and anoint themselves with the chief ointments, but they are not grieved for the affliction of Joseph. See, these are the people that the Most High talking about. He said, woe to these people, death and destruction to these people who do all, let me go back to the top. And it said, woe to them that are at ease in Zion and trust in the mountain of Samaria, which are named chief of the nations. Now, who is chief of the nations? Esau. Esau run the planet. He is the wicked. The world was placed in his hands and he controlled this place. So if you look at the scriptures, it said in the mountain of Samaria. We was talking about the people, and who were they? They were the people of other nations and the Edomites and all that. So we don't have our trust in the Most High no more. We look around, we trust in all these other nations, right? So he said, woe to them. So there's death and destruction to them that trust, and who having it easy right now, and they don't, and because they having it easy, they don't got no use for the Lord no more. They don't think they need the Lord. They say all we need is our oppressor. We straight. Oh, is your brother okay? No, he's fucked up, but fuck him. That's how our people are. So let me get back down here. And it says that drink wine in bowls and anoint themselves with the chief ointments, but they are not grieved for the affliction of Joseph. So they don't give a damn about their brother. They just want what they want. They want their shit to be good. And the people that they really give a fuck about that's close to them, everybody else of their people, they don't give a fuck about. You see this every day in rap songs. Every time the song come on, all you hear is the motherfucker talking about what they got that you ain't got, that you ain't up on this, yo. You can't get this. Nigga, I paid 90 bands for this. I mean, that's what our people be on. We stun on each other. So, and then it says, therefore now shall they go captive. With the first, go captive, and the banquet of them that stretch themselves shall be removed. So, we cannot, and people don't understand that, we know that we are Israel, man, because, I mean, you can't prove it with paperwork and all of that, but we know that we're Israel through the curses. The curses are only going to fit an Israelite, and through the Spirit also. So, we can't judge this, what you is by skin color, because skin color don't mean shit, It does not mean you Israel. We are known to be a speckled bird. The Most High likened us and compared us to a speckled bird, which means we are many shades and colors. You know what I'm saying? Because our men and women dated outside of Israel and broke the law. So, because we wanted to be like the other nations, he poured out a curse on us so that we will also look like the other nations. Okay, this is Daniel 9:4. And it says, and I prayed unto Yahweh my power, and made my confession, and said, O Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him, and to them that keep his commandments. And then it says, we have sinned and have committed iniquity, and have done wickedly, and have rebelled, and even by departing from the precepts and from thy judgments. Neither have we hearkened unto thy servants, the prophets, which spake in thy name, to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. And this is where it gets good. And this is where you get the understanding that you cannot judge us by skin color. Ain't no such thing as they say Negro only. How the fuck is you gonna say Negro only? How can you say Negro only? There's no way. You could say Negro only. You know what I'm saying? And there's no way that you could say Negro only. You say Negro only, And that means everybody, the word Negro goes back to the word Niger, which means black or dark. So everybody, that's like saying you cannot be light-skinned or you can't be looking like another nation and be an Israelite. And we know that's a lie, because an Israelite man can go and hit a white bride and their baby gonna be looking all mixed up in the features, right? But he's still an Israelite because his daddy won. You know, he the seed of his father. So we know that's not true, right? Okay, it said, Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces, as at this day, to the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near, and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven them, because of their trespass. They have trespassed against thee, O Lord. To us belongeth confusion of face, to our kings, and to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee. And then it says, to the Lord our God belong mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him, neither have we obeyed the voice of Yahweh our power to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants, the prophets. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, because we have sinned against him. So, in many ways, man, we are uniquely identified by the curses. You know, the so-called white man is never going to tell you who you are. You know, and why you going through what you're going through. The scriptures was prophesied to reveal it to us in these days. But let's go into specifics. Let's break down the details of our curses. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Okay, this is Deuteronomy 28 and 15. And it says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So basically he said, man, look, I'm tired of playing with y'all. If y'all don't obey all these laws, statutes, commandments that I put out here to this day, from this time forward, if y'all fuck up, y'all going into captivity. He said, cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. So, goddamn it, when we was in hard bondage, and we was made to being whipped and beaten, and we was out there picking cotton, we was cursed out there because we had to do that. We had to pick cotton. We will never reap the benefits of, you know. And it said cursed in the city. I mean, everywhere we go, every place we at, we're going to be cursed. It said, curse shall be thy basket in thy store. So whatever we do, if I come up, like I had a restaurant, I did my thing with that restaurant. But Esau came along, found a way to shut me down, and he did. I was cursed. He cursed be thy basket in thy store. So any type of work that we're gonna try to get going to better ourselves is gonna fail. It's gonna start out good and it's gonna fail. You know? And it said, and we're gonna always be broke. It said, "Cursed be thy basket." It said, "Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land." So everywhere we at, the fruit of thy land, everywhere we at, it's gonna be a curse for us. The fruit of our body is our children, cursed. You know. And then it says, "Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out." And he was talking about the fruit of our body, our kids. They're going to be coming in the world cursed. They're going to be leaving up out of this mud cursed. And then it said, the Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, in all that thou settest thine hand unto do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. Then it says, the Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land, whither thou goest to possess it. So in this verse, it was talking about when we were still in our land of Jerusalem. So he was letting us know that it was going to fall at some point once we fucked up. And I'm going to read it to you again. It said, the Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that thou settest thine hand to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doing, whereby thou hast forsaken me. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. Okay, now, and it says, let me see, make sure I got enough. Oh, okay. And then it said, the Lord shall send, then it says, this is Deuteronomy 28:25. It said, the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. So that's basically, we're not going to have no power against this devil to fight him. You know, we no matter how we gang up and try to stand together, it's not going to work. We're going to fail. And that's what the scripture is telling you, you know. And then it says, and the carcass shall be meat unto all fowls of the air and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. And this has been proven already because, you know, they used to hang us in trees and murder us and leave us everywhere and for the to be food for the beasts and the rodents and the flies. Yeah, they didn't give a fuck about us. You know, until this day they still hanging us. And it says, the Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the hemorrhoids, and with the scab, and with the itch, wherefore thou cannot be healed. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness. Now, I'm gonna stop right there. You know, yeah, he did say he was gonna smite us with the botch of Egypt, and with the hemorrhoids, and with the scab, and with the itch whereof thou cannot be healed. And it's basically telling you that the Most High, it was gonna be diseases. We was gonna get caught up in these diseases and illnesses that there's no cure for, that we won't be able to get a cure for, like HIV, like cancer, all this other good stuff. There's no, I mean, according for us, it ain't no cure for it. But we see these 3%, they catch all this shit. They straight, you know. And then it says, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness. And this is what you see every day on Facebook, on YouTube, and in the motherfucking streets. Our people is so lost. They have no fucking clue. And when you come to them with the truth, they don't get it. They can't see it. They can't see it. And it says, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore. And then it says, and no man shall save thee. Yeah, no man shall save thee. So I don't give a fuck how many of them that try to rise up to change the prophecy that the Most High laid up. We just got to endure this to the end, you know. He said, no man is going to get you about this. And he said, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. So you're gonna get a woman, and then this happened in slavery and right now. In slavery, you'll get a wife, and you will lie with her, and then next thing you know, your slave master will sell off to somebody else to have kids, because it's all about they was farming us, you know. So it was all about populating, you know. And now in these days, they don't even got to do all that, because the woman will come hit you, and then she'll go lay with another motherfucker the next day or the same day, you know. And you know that's against our law. So he said, "Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her." So anytime you meet a woman, and y'all say y'all talking about y'all going steady or whatever, another man ain't supposed to be able to come to her, and then y'all get together, and y'all lay with each other, y'all married, you know, and she's not supposed to mess with another man after that, but. That's not what they do in this kingdom in these days. What they do here now is they'll go and they'll have sex with 5, 6 niggas in 2, 3 days. So it say he said, thou shalt build a house and thou shalt not dwell therein. That's what we do. In our kingdom, in our days, when we built the house, it was for us to live in. It wasn't, people didn't have jobs where they went and built houses. No, it didn't work like that. You know, you built the house. You built the house for yourself, you know? I mean, that's just how it was. And then it says, thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. We do this all the time. We call ourselves carpenters and construction people, construction workers. We around here building all these houses, but we come home to an apartment, you know? That's how it is. He said, thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. You know, and this is what our ancestors did. They went out there and planted all them crops, did all of that stuff to get everything going. Hold on, let me get it back going. To get everything going, and guess what? They don't get a damn of it. Nothing. He said, thou shalt not gather the grapes thereof. You know. And he said, thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thy enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. So guess what? Everything that we get, that we work for, this government, whether you know it or not, they taking everything from us. We're getting just enough money to survive, to be able to get back, to do more work for them. We're in slavery. Okay? Now, and it says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with them, with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. What do Esau do right now? Now, you know they was already in slavery. They was taking our kids and selling them or whatever. Yeah. But right now, what are they doing? They still doing the same thing, but in a different way. When you have a baby, you got to register your baby to them. They take control of your baby, give them a social security card, a birth certificate, and an ID, and all of that good shit, footprints, all that, and they put your kids on the stock market. You know, yeah. I mean, and if you whoop your kids, come on, man. The Bible say you supposed to whoop your kids' ass. Okay, man, whoop your kids' ass in this kingdom. Esau will take your kids from you. Because they're really not your kids. They're just allowing you to believe that they're your kids. Yeah, you had them, but Esau owns us. We're still his slaves. We're still his property. Okay? And then it says, the fruit of thy land and all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed away, so that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. The Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed, from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. That sounds like arthritis. Yes. That's what our people had mostly. Doing all this work for these fucking devils and not getting nothing from it. You know? And then it says, the Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone. Now, we already know what the wood and stone is, the other gods is. That's Christianity, is the wood, and the stone it represents Islam, you know. So, and then it says, and thou shalt become an astonishment. We are an astonishment. A proverb. We are a proverb. And a byword. Don't they call us Negroes and niggas when we really Israelites? Yeah. Among all nations, and everybody do us the same way. Whither the Lord shall lead thee. He said, thou shalt carry much seed out into the field. And I just was talking about that. And shall gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shalt neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes. For the worm shall eat them. Thou shalt have olive trees throughout all thy coasts, but thou shalt not anoint thyself with the oil. Go over to Israel right now. We got all of these things growing right now over there in our land, and we can't have none of it. It ain't for us. Fuck us. Because we transgress against the Most High. And then it says, for thine olive shall cast his fruit. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. All thy trees and fruit of thy land shall the locust consume. The stranger that is within thee, which is this Edomite, he shall get up above thee very high. And he did. And thou shalt come down very low. And we did. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. We don't lend white folks nothing. We ain't got nothing, do we? But we got to go to them for stuff, right? He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. So he is the ruler, and we're the servants. Then it says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And then it said, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. And every generation, it's the same thing, and it just gets worse and worse. It said, because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. So anything we need, the Most High say, I'm not fucking with you. I'll put the spirit on them to make sure you get what you need to keep y'all alive and multiplying, but y'all gonna be punished. So we had to go to this fucking devil for anything we needed. And this is what we're doing right now. He said we're gonna have to go to them in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And he did put a yoke of iron on our neck. And we are a destroyed people. And it said, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. Now, whose crest has always been the eagle? The tabernacles of Edom. Right. And then it said, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. You know, the Greeks and the Romans, we spoke Hebrew. They spoke the Greek language, and it later transformed itself into Aramaic and Latin, and we couldn't understand that shit. So we didn't know what the fuck they were saying. Because by the time they came and put us in captivity, when they came over in Africa and the Canaanites sold us, the Hamites sold us to them, they had switched a whole new language again by then. So we didn't understand the language they were speaking. And it says, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce countenance. Now what nation have a more fierce countenance than Esau? Stop playing. Which shall not regard the person of the old, nor shall favor to the young. Look back in our slavery days. They hung old, babies, ladies. They didn't give a fuck. They fed us alligators. They did us every kind of way. And it said, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed. So he's going to profit off of us, man. He said, until we destroy. He say, which also shall not leave either corn, wine, or oil. So he is using up all the natural resources. This is all prophesied in the Bible. And that's what this damn devil's doing right now. He's using up all the natural resources. And he said, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down. Now this is going back to when we was in Jerusalem, and we trusted in those gates and walls, and then it said, wherein thou trusted it through all thy land, he shall besiege thee in all thy gates through all thy land, which the Lord thy God hath given thee, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body. So every motherfucking thing that all the captivity we went through, all the hard labor, we working for our own shit, and we're gonna get the scraps, we're gonna get the scraps, and like I said, and some of us gonna be some of our people, and this is gonna be like this again. Some of our people was eating their own flesh, it said the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord God hath given thee in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress. So it's like that. And it says, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother. And we see this all the time, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. The Most High say, man, we're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And we don't have the knowledge of the Most High, man. You just through. You done. He says, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he has nothing left him in the siege and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. And then it says, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young ones that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear. For she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in thy gates. So it's gonna be a lot of women That's not gonna when this chip is mandatory, it's gonna be a lot of women that's gonna take that chip, you know, and they're not gonna be able to see their kids starve and die and all that. But really, it ain't even because of that. It's because they don't want to starve and die and all of that. Because a woman knows she can make more kids, you know. But this is the mindset that they're gonna be in. Because right now, the love of many has waxed cold. Because the scriptures told us that. So it says, if thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, Yahweh thy power. Then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed even great plagues, of long continuance and sore sickness and of long continuance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee, until thou be destroyed. And ye shall be left few in number, whereas y'all were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou would not obey the voice of the Lord thy God. So because he just gave us laws, we made a covenant with him, and we said that we was going to do it, and we didn't. And so we're paying for it. Okay, and then but one nation of people that's paying for it, and that's the Native Indians, the Hispanics, and the so-called black people. You know, that's us. We the ones paying for that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and then it says, and this is Deuteronomy 28:64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods. And we are everywhere. In every city, every town, every promise, you got an Israelite, and guess what they're gonna look like? The other nations. The other nations. Look, I'm gonna read you something in Revelations that's gonna tell you exactly uh exactly what I'm trying to show you now, that there's no Negro only. Let me see how much time I got. Oh, okay. I'm gonna hurry up and get done with this. But I'm gonna read this to you. Because we already know that the Most High is only dealing with Israel, right? He already said that. He said out of all the families, is in the book of Amos, I think it's 3 and 7 or something. It says, of all the families of the earth, you only have I known. Therefore, I shall punish you for all your iniquities. So, I mean, all throughout the Bible, he said he only dealing with us. So, if you're only dealing with us, watch this. Man, this. Oh, no wonder. Okay. Yeah, I gotta show you something, man. Okay. Now watch this. Now, this is how you know that the Israelites is going to look like all other nations of people. And they say Great Millstone, you always trying to bring him. We know, we judge by the Spirit. Now watch this. This is Revelations 7 and 9. And the Christian church try to use this to make people believe that all nations can make it when they can't. When the Bible been telling them all through the flick that the Most High ain't dealing with them. Okay? So, I'm going to show you this. And then it says this. After this, I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. So you just said that. It said all nations and kindreds and people and tongues. But if you go back, hold on, let me go back. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, now we go back. It says that He said, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And the key word there, it said, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. So everywhere there's any people that there are Israelites among them, whether they look like us or don't. He said, what did he say? What did the Most High say? He said, my heritage is unto me as a